Welcome to the 13th episode of the Blue Collar Baddies podcast. This episode is sponsored by buildher.org, supporting women in construction careers by encouraging self-discovery, self-development, and sharing their unique stories. We'll be doing a giveaway in the next couple weeks, so make sure you stay tuned. Today we have Brittany, and what trade are you in? Or what do you do?
I'm an assistant super for a commercial general contractor.
Okay, and how'd you get there?
Roundabout way. So I went to college for communication and got out of school, couldn't really find a job that paid anything or was satisfying work. I got a job landscaping for a summer just to get out, do something different, be outside.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I loved
being
outside all summer, and the work wasn't that bad. I was probably in the best shape I had ever been in.
For sure.
But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I did that for a year and then was kind of bouncing around again. But my dad had been in construction ever since I was young, and I would go to work with him sometimes and see the projects that he was on. And I was always interested in what he did. I didn't know much other than he was the boss.
Yeah.
But after I had that job landscaping, it was a little bit stronger interest, and I knew there was more money in construction than landscaping. So I was able to interview with the general contractor that he worked for as a superintendent, and they hired me on the basis that I was willing to learn, and basically that my dad was pretty good at his job, so hopefully some of that was genetic. And
that's awesome.
I did 2 years at that company up in Boston, and then I moved down to Nashville and got a job with the company I'm at now.
Dang, that's cool. So how long have you been there?
About 3.5 years.
Okay, and the landscaping job was right before that, so 4-ish years ago? Or no, I guess you had to go to... Sorry, that time
landscaping was almost 6 years ago.
Got it, okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. What is your favorite thing about your job?
I like the variety of it. It's a little bit different every day. We get to see different projects.
Yeah.
My favorite phase of construction is doing the mechanical roughing, in-wall or mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Anything before drywall and finishes I think is more interesting for me to walk around and see, handling the inspection process and getting everything ready to be closed in. I think I enjoy that phase. I like the people that I work with generally.
Nice.
I like not having to sit at a desk for 8 hours a day, being able to walk around and
for sure
be a little bit active.
Yeah, and you get to learn a little bit of every trade, being part of that, right?
Yeah,
you see all of it.
Yep, I'm not an expert in anything, but I know a little bit about everything.
I work in spray foam, and I just refer to myself as the labor hand because I don't really do just one thing. I'm just whatever needs to be done.
Yep.
So if someone wanted to do what you do right now, what advice would you give her? How to get started or, things to prepare for?
There's a couple different ways to get in it, and I think nowadays construction is a little bit more open to women being in the field and women being in leadership positions in the field.
Right.
You still kind of got to elbow your way in, but it's still going to be an industry that's about experience. So being young is always a deficit in construction. So just be ready for that. When you're coming out of college or you're, coming up through the field, you get to a point in your 20s where you think you know everything. Just be willing to learn, ask a lot of questions.
Nice.
But yeah, you can go to school for construction management, come out with a degree and get a job that way, or you could come up through the field, start as a laborer or a carpenter, and learn the business from the inside out.
Yeah, I like that. Do you feel like you're missing out on anything by not having a typical basic office job or something? You feel like there's anything you've missed out on?
Not really. I mean, there's always you have the office side of construction, and because I'm a woman, sometimes I'll get roped into that stuff as well, some of the, community service projects, which I like being a part of, or company outings. If the girls in the office are all planning something, I generally get invited to that. So.
Nice. So you get both sides of it.
Yeah, I get a little bit of both, and it's enough for me.
Yeah, that's good. Are there any big struggles you've had with either other women on the job site or men thinking you don't belong there, or any struggles in that area?
There's always a bit of a challenge. I hadn't really worked on a job site with a lot of women until recently, and they had all been working together for a while, and then I got added to a project kind of late in the game. Mm-hmm. So I think they had a way that they worked together and everything and got along, and I don't know that I necessarily fit into that. I wasn't on that project very long, but it can be tough, seeing women as either competition or, it just gets a little bit catty sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And, some of the older guys, like, they kind of look at you and like, oh, where's the superintendent? Who am I supposed to ask questions to? And
right.
You got to be like, I'm standing right here. What do you want? So you run into that a little bit everywhere, but I've never had major pushback that was, detrimental to any project or my career or anything.
Nice. That's good. What would you say is your favorite tool? The thing that you just use all the time?
Tape measure. I mean,
nice.
Being on the construction management side of it, it's basically going to be between a tape measure and an iPad. So you're looking at drawings, you're checking layout. Sometimes you get to use other tools, but not very often.
Right. What about work clothes? Do you have to buy anything specific, and do you struggle to find things that fit correctly, like PPE and all that stuff?
Just making sure that I have a safety vest that's small enough. I'm fairly petite. Work pants, I've always found work pants that I like, kind of bounce around between brands and stuff, but the last couple of years, there's a lot more options on the market.
Yeah.
And then just whenever companies are ordering clothes, usually they order all the superintendent's clothes, different from the office stuff, and they get only guys. So making sure that, like, there are women's cut polos. And I had a superintendent was grabbing the new polos for everybody on the team, and he didn't know that there were women's polos available. Oh. So he grabbed me a couple men's polos, and I think they were like a small or a medium. Mm-hmm. But they were still huge, and just the design on it, there was a line that like went straight across my chest. And I was like, I don't think I can wear this.
Yeah.
And then I went to the office like the next week, and they're like, oh, we have some women's polos for you. And I was like, what the heck? Thanks. So they had the lines in different places. Nice. It was a much better design.
Yeah.
So just making sure. And like a lot of companies, if you ask for something, they'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't realize,
right.
You're in the field and you can't wear that. Or like when I first got here, I got a sleeveless collared shirt, which is like a nice thing you can wear to the office with a sweater or something, but you can't wear anything sleeveless in the field. And I was like, I need a couple more like t-shirt polos because I literally can't wear this.
That's funny.
But yeah, if you ask, generally they're pretty accommodating.
Nice. If you were to explore something different that's still a trade, what do you think you would do?
I still think about like landscaping and being on the physical end of it. So either getting into like hardscapes or even being a carpenter, I think I would really enjoy.
That'd be cool.
Learning all the specifics of that. I was helping my in-laws. They're framing up a new house and learning all the different terms for the different studs in the walls and how everything goes together, and just laying it out and then putting it together and flipping it up was
nice.
A really fun way for me to spend a Saturday. But there are days I think about the hands-on stuff and how I would do it differently if I had come to construction earlier.
Right, yeah. That's cool. Do you have any embarrassing job site stories to share?
So, part of learning is just kind of being a shadow sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's happened many times where, I'm having a conversation with the superintendent and we're walking the job, and at some point the conversation stops and it's kind of awkward, like, do I keep following? Do I not? Like, where is the line? And then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, we're heading in a certain direction. There's like one of two options, and generally like the super's heading to the bathroom and you gotta like catch yourself, you know? Like, okay, I don't need to follow you there. Yeah. It's like, you gotta watch yourself when you're being a shadow sometimes. Like,
what did you originally think you were gonna be like growing up as a kid?
I've always liked writing.
Yeah?
I've always kept a journal, been interested in creative writing. I took writing classes in high school, and then in college I majored in communication.
Okay.
And I thought I would end up in like public relations or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, being an author, being a speechwriter or something like that is
That's cool.
Where I thought I would end up.
Yeah. I mean, you could still do that on the side, but...
Yeah, I do some writing. I've done a little bit of, like, freelance writing for construction companies. So
nice.
I would love to do more work like that. I'm still finding the opportunities to do that. But, yeah, it's something I still do pretty much every day.
Yeah, that's cool. Any, like, skincare or hair care? Do you have to wear a hard hat, I guess? Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time I'm wearing a hard hat. I'm pretty low maintenance in the hair and makeup department. I usually don't even do my hair until I get to work.
Yeah.
And I don't wear makeup on a job site. So I would say for me, just like make sure you're washing your hands, washing your face when you leave the job site, because you really have no idea what you've been touching all day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Multiple crews in and out of there. Who knows?
And the hard hat definitely makes it easier to skip days on washing your hair.
Yeah.
So, and none of the guys care.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you have anything else you want to add?
I think one thing I will say, I do have a college degree and I'm not using it in the traditional way. I'm not directly in public relations or social media or advertising.
Right.
But all the stuff that I do with the National Association of Women in Construction and Crew Collaborative, a lot of organizations that are advocating for women in construction and the next generation of trades workers, and reaching out to high school kids and middle school kids to tell them about the opportunities in construction, and having a social media platform. All of that uses the stuff that I learned in college and with my degree. And I really like how it's come full circle, even though this is not the track that I set out to be on. Everything that I've learned and all the skills that I obtained through different jobs and different experiences is all contributing to my goals and what I'm working towards now. Yeah,
that's awesome. I went for graphic design and, I use it all the time.
Yep. Just not in the way you thought you would.
No, not at all. All right. Well, the social medias that you post to, do you want to, we can link those in the description?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah. I post on Instagram as Builder with a Bow, and I share on LinkedIn as well.
Oh, wait. Do I follow you?
There's a chance.
Dang. That's crazy. I didn't even, usually whenever I meet people on, social media or whatever and reach out to them, I thought I had already reached out to you, but maybe not. Or maybe there's two Builders with a Bow.
I hope not.
I don't really know.
Gonna go look that up now.
Yeah, that's crazy. So besides your social medias, is there any other companies you want to shout out?
My company, RC Matthews, they're really supportive of everything that I do outside of my day-to-day job, and nice. I really appreciate their support.
That's awesome. It's great to have a company that is, supportive of what you do, and, that's great. All right. Well, thank you for being here. I'm glad you
Thank you for inviting
participated. Me. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. All the links and products we mentioned today will be listed in the description. If you're a woman in a blue-collar industry and you're interested in being the focus of the next episode, or you're a small business that would like to sponsor an episode, reach out to us in the link below.